shed more light on this very important day for the Egyptian football and the preparations and our expectations for today's game. We are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Mr. Hatem Maher, our sports critic. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Maher.
Good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
Hello, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Maher, the Egyptian football is making great achievements indeed these days, the most important of which is reaching the final of the African Cup of Nations, which is taking place in Cameroon. How do you see the journey to reach such a great final?
I believe should we win today,
yeah.
It might be the most precious Nations Cup win in Egypt's history, simply because I cannot recall a tournament which we won during which we faced several of Africa's heavyweights, of Africa's top teams. Especially that now is the tournament now includes 24 teams, so there's an additional round compared to the past. So from the round of 16, from the knockout stage, we played against very tough opponents. Yeah. Unlike all of the other teams have played tough opponents and some modest opponents. But in Egypt's case, we played against the Ivory Coast in the round of 16, then against Morocco in the quarterfinals, then against host Cameroon in the semifinals. Yes. And now we have another tough opponent in Senegal. So I think if we won a record-extending 8th crown, it would be the most difficult one we achieved.
Indeed. Sir, how do you see the performance of the Pharaohs, our national team? How did it develop throughout the different stages? And indeed, we were facing many big names and big teams, as you have kindly mentioned, Morocco, Cameroon. We did play, well in many matches against giants in the African continent, indeed. How do you see our performance in our different matches throughout our participation?
Egypt's progress during the course of the tournament was honestly very surprising, because we started very badly. We played poorly in the opening game.
We were defeated against Nigeria.
Yeah, exactly. We lost, and not only we lost, but we were also outplayed. It was a very poor game. Nigeria could have even won by a bigger margin. But credit goes to Carlos Queiroz for improving the team, even though the circumstances we had to endure could have easily ruined our whole campaign, because to lose several key players through injury, that would be very difficult for any team to make up for. But actually, we did not feel the absence of those key players. Those who came to play instead of them played in more than perfect way. So I think this credit goes to Queiroz, because he prepared the substitutes during the Arab Cup, which was played shortly before the Nations Cup got underway. So all of the players lived up to expectations when needed. So I think we have a very good chance today, because every game we play, but we get better as the tournament wears on. So it will be a very tough game, but because both teams play in a pretty much similar style, because both teams mainly rely on their solid defense and their ability to make counterattacks and score on breakaways. So we are similar in our style, but I believe that the efforts the Egyptian team have put on throughout the tournament will eventually pay off.
Yes. Mr. Maher, how do you see the preparations now, and what's your expectation for Queiroz's plan for our final match against Senegal, which is indeed would be tough, as you have kindly mentioned, one as Senegal is eager indeed to win the title, and Egypt is eager as well to gain victory for and the title for the 8th time?
I think Kirsch will stick to his to the same game plan that he has been using throughout the tournament. The only change we might see today is in the right back position, because we lost our regular right back Akram Tawfiq on the opening game,
injury, yes.
and then Omar Kamal, who did great in the absence of Akram Tawfiq. He picked up a second yellow card in the semi-final against Cameroon, so he will not be available.
Yes.
So I think he will deploy the Malik midfielder Imam Ashur in that position, because Ashur came on as a late substitute against Cameroon, and he actually did very well, surprisingly, because this is not the position. This is not his position. This is very unfamiliar for him to play as a right back.
Yeah.
But he did great, just like his teammates. So I think this will probably be the only change that Kirsch will make tonight. Otherwise, we will play with the same formation, the same style, because I believe as long as the team is performing well, it's very hard to make drastic changes, because it might backfire badly if you change the style of play in a game like a final against Senegal.
Yes. How do you assess the Senegalese team, sir? How do you see their strengths, the weak points? How do you see their performance so far throughout the tournament as well?
They have been very good, honestly, just like us. Like I said, they play in a style that is very close to ours. They have many players who play in famed European clubs. Not just Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane is the standout performer, but there are other players who are very good, like Koyate, the Crystal Palace midfielder, like Koulibaly, who plays as a central defender for Napoli in Italy. So they have many players who would be very dangerous. So it will be a very tough game. I think it will be the toughest among the teams that we faced so far.
Yeah. Sir, today in our final game, the Egyptian team led by Mohamed Salah will meet with Senegal led by Mane. Did both Salah and Mane play in one team, revealing their cause to each other as they are the mates in Liverpool? And how do you expect both the international players to face each other in today's match, which is the final of the tournament?
This is a very interesting individual clash that captured the attention of the whole world, actually, not just Africans. And it's a competition between the two over who is the best player in Africa. And maybe for Salah specifically to win a major honor with Egypt, that will be a plus when he competes for the best player of the year, the world's best player of the year award at the end of this year. So it's very important. It's also very important for both to win their first title with their national teams. Salah played in the final in 2017, but we lost to Cameroon. And Mane played in the final 3 years ago in Egypt, but lost to Algeria. So both, it's a similar case for both. Both want to make up for that losses, and both are seeking to lead their teams to their first glory, first Nations Cup triumph. So I think it will be very interesting to see that clash, even for neutrals.
Yes, sir. Sir, has the African arbitration not risen to the world or international standards levels yet? How do you assess the arbitration so far? And many people had concerns about the arbitration in our match against Cameroon.
Sorry, I did not hear the question.
The arbitration in the tournament. Can you hear me, sir?
No.
The arbitration in the tournament, the referees.
Okay. I think it's going well. Unlike most people who criticize the refereeing in the tournament, but I believe at least all the decisive decisions were good calls from the referees. And thanks thanks to VAR, thanks to the VAR for that. Otherwise, we could have seen huge mistakes. So I think maybe for example, like the match between Egypt and Cameroon, there were some fouls and some free kicks that we should have got, and then the decisions went against us. But otherwise, I don't think anyone will recall any incident that was a game changer. So I believe it's going well.
Yes, sir. How do you expect today's match to be? Your expectations for today's final between Egypt and Senegal?
Naturally, it's very hard to predict. I think it's a 50-50 game. Yeah, I don't think anyone have a clear advantage or a clear edge before the game. So it will be very close, very tough, and we might go as well, just like the past few games. We might go once again to extra time because it's very hard to separate both sides. So I think it will be very closely fought.
Indeed, Mr. Hatem Maher, our sports critic, many thanks for your precious input and for being with us today. And indeed, we wish our national team the best of luck tonight in our final match against Senegal. And our dear viewers, with that, we come to the end of this edition